Good morning. I am Allison Ladd, and I serve as the Deputy Mayor for Economic and Housing Development for Mayor Raj J. Baraka in the great city of Newark. It's my pleasure to be here with you today as we have this exciting unveiling of the Mayor's ambitious and equitable economic recovery plan and strategy for our city of Newark. We are here in front of Clean Cuts, a unisex beauty salon, a well-established small business, and a recipient of the city's small business grant program. And you'll hear from our owner in a little while. We chose this location because we know that the COVID-19 pandemic has hit our neighborhoods, our small businesses, and our residents the hardest. And we also know that the objectives of this recovery plan have to meet those exact needs. So we have to focus on our strengths and supporting our small businesses, building along our neighborhood corridors, and really working with the people in the city of Newark so that we all can recover together. We know that Newark has a strong history of job growth. We also know that 73% of our businesses are small businesses with less than 10 employees, and that economic development projects continue despite the pandemic. So recovery efforts must build upon this strength. This morning, you're going to hear from neighborhood champions, economic development leaders, investors in our city, and recipients of the Small Business Grant Program, as well as our mayor. So let's get started. I'd like to welcome our Councilmember John Sharp James, to the podium. The Councilmember who needs no introduction, but here's a short one. The Councilmember is a lifelong Newarker. He grew up in the Weequahic section of Newark's South Ward, and in November of 2013, Councilmember started his journey as Councilmember here in the city of Newark. He constantly seeks opportunities to enhance the quality of life and bring City Hall resources here to the South Ward. And it's my pleasure to introduce Councilmember James.
Good morning, good morning. First and foremost, I want to welcome everyone to the South Ward. I can't say enough praise about the mayor and his administration for helping us come out of the COVID pandemic. Who knew that it would hit and strike us as hard as it did in 2020? But we are moving past that, and financial recovery is a key. He does not forget about the small businesses. As stated earlier, they drive our economy, and in the South Ward, we partner with all of our small businesses to make sure they get the best resources. So again, I want to thank the mayor, his team, the administration, and thank everyone for this revitalization grant, which will help our small businesses in the South Ward. God bless you.
Thanks, Councilmember James. Always great to be in your neighborhood and here in the South Ward. And now I'd like to bring up a woman who really doesn't need an introduction either, but Ronice Bruce, the South Ward CID Executive Director. As I've gotten to know Ronice, I know that Ronice is a woman with true grit, a leader who knows that now is the time for us to do economic recovery in our neighborhoods and along Bergen Street and throughout the South Ward CID. And I know that here in the South Ward CID, everybody knows her name. So please come to the podium, Ronice.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Deputy Mayor, of course, my mayor, my council person, and everyone here. As Allison said, I'm the Executive Director for the Special Improvement District, but more so importantly, I'm a Newarker. I'm here in the South Ward. I'm excited. This time last year, we couldn't be together like this, so it's always touching to be able to come back. And as we rebrand and regrow and come back together, I can't do enough to thank all my businesses that actually took time out to stay open. Clean Cuts, of course, is always a signature. A year ago, Cotton Funeral Home was considered the home of our heroes, and everyone here in the area had my Napoli's Pizza that didn't find it hard to give back to the community, gave food. Salam's Ice Cream and Level 1 Bakery that closed and reopened in a different way. Domino's Pizza that took time out to move from being a merchant to now they're a property owner down the street. So I'm excited to be able to have this opportunity here in the Southport Special Improvement District and to welcome you all here for the first time for some and hopefully not the last time for others. So thank you again, Allison Ladd and Mayor and everyone else that's here.
Thanks, Ronice. And I really enjoyed our visit yesterday as we walked the corridor and you introduced me to many of the businesses here, and many of them have been impacted by COVID-19, but we have much more to do to help them as they thrive in our city. Before we hear from some more of our honored guests that are here today, I'd like to share a few highlights of the Equitable Economic Recovery Plan. This plan, as you see here, has been copied and made available to many of you that are present with us today. And we'll also be having a more detailed Zoom event at 1 o'clock, and we welcome the media to join us during that presentation. This ambitious plan incorporates Mayor Baraka's Newark Forward principles. And we're so glad to be joined by representatives of the Equitable Growth Commission, including Gerard Crowder, Richard Camerari, and others that are here, because it really takes us all to think about equitable solutions as we continue to do equitable growth in the city of Newark. The action plan is a 2-year action plan with year one funding of approximately $8 million. And the 4 objectives of this plan are: 1, create good jobs. So again, we're going to build on the good jobs that we have in the city and continue to create more good jobs for our residents. 2, accelerate economic development. That's really the backbone of how we can continue to raise revenue and a way for us to continue to rebuild our city, both downtown, but here in our neighborhoods, which is just as important. 3, help small businesses rebuild and thrive. And as I shared, over 70% of our businesses here in the city of Newark are small businesses. And so there's so much that we can do to help them thrive as we move forward. And 4th, we want to continue to create vibrant neighborhoods, vibrant commercial districts. So we're here on Bergen Street to demonstrate how powerful it can be if we put our minds together, we invest in place-based strategies, and we find solutions to really continue to grow our neighborhoods. Contained in the 4 objectives that are in this report, you'll find 13 actions. These 13 actions will drive the equitable economic recovery with timelines of 3 months to 18 months for implementation. And then they're measured. We have actual measurements and KPIs, key performance metrics, that will be able to show success over the next 2 years. We know that this equitable economic recovery plan is going to take all of us to make this happen. So at this time, I'd just like to thank a few people who are present with us today, because again, you've been so instrumental in helping us design this plan, and we need you now to help us even more execute it. I know that our Deputy Mayor for Workforce Development, Rahman Muhammad, is here with us. Always glad to be with him. I see him in the back. I also see Fayemi Shakur, our Director of Arts and Cultural Affairs, who's been really championing everything that the mayor's vision has around arts and culture and keeping them alive and thriving in our city. Deshaun Wright, the interim president of the Newark Alliance, and they have been instrumental in bringing businesses to our city and working with our anchor institutions. Jay Lee, the Small Business Development Officer, who's been really helping us reach people where they are and businesses where they are, including with Invest Newark. And I saw Vanessa Quijano here, and I can't thank her enough for everything she does for our small businesses in our city. And Bloomberg Associates. I see Alexia Nazarian is representing Bloomberg, but Bloomberg Associates has been really helpful to the mayor in our city as we look at strategies, compare best practices across the country, and really find the right solution for our city. And what you'll see in the economic recovery plan is that we really focused on people-to-people interaction, because we know that that's what our city needs. During COVID, we had to have Zooms, we had to do online applications, but now what can we do to help the businesses that we may need to help with broadband access, or ways that we're traversing the corridors like we are today so that we know what the needs are and we can reach the businesses where they are. So again, at the end of this event, There will be a Zoom for those that would like to hear a more detailed analysis of the plan, and we'll walk you through it. But let's get going on the rest of our wonderful speakers that joined us today. So I'd like to call up Daryl Shore. Daryl Shore is the Vice President of Inclusive Communities for Prudential Financial. In cities across the country, we are thankful for champions like Prudential. This morning, Daryl Shore will give some insight into how Prudential has been helping us through this pandemic. I would have to say Prudential and Daryl are some of the first to say, yes, I will invest in the city of Newark. And it's been great working with them over the last 15 months, from small business big grants to looking at ways to create recovery actions, and just really honored that Daryl can join us today. So Daryl, please provide some remarks.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Good morning, everyone. My name is Daryl Shore, and I'm Vice President of Inclusive Communities at Prudential Financial. I'm excited to be a part of today's event. It's always great when we can partner with the Mayor's office and connect with business owners here in the South Ward. But you should know that at Prudential, we support the entire city. We support all of the wards, and we believe that in order to have a thriving city, you have to have thriving neighborhoods. This work is not new to us. We were founded in downtown Newark in 1875, and we've stayed here. We've committed more than $1 billion to Newark's spreading economic and social recoveries and trajectory across the city, and we've seen the meaning and lasting change. In April of last year, the pandemic started to change our lives, but we stepped up to work to find ways to make an impact on the residents of the city. We donated over 150,000 N95 masks and respirators. We waived the rent for tenants in our own corporate real estate. But one of our proudest investments was to support the Mayor's Small Business Recovery Fund. Our chairman and CEO was asked to join the Governor's Recovery Committee, and we pledged to create 30,000 new jobs for New Jersey residents by 2023, and also increase our procurement spend by $250 million across the state of Jersey. While we work to support efforts across the state, Newark is our hometown, and it's very special to us. So many of you may know my colleague, Shanae Harris, who's the president of the Prudential Foundation and also a Newarker herself. She played a valuable role in supporting the New Jersey Pandemic Relief Fund and was very instrumental in making sure a lot of those funds were directed to the city of Newark around small business, around broadband and education. So what we see in Newark is that what we can do is offer blueprints for other cities to create an inclusive city where everyone gets to benefit from the opportunity. And we know that that's happening here in the city of Newark under the leadership of the mayor. As an anchor institution, we take that role important, and we believe in working with other organizations to drive impact across the city. We also knew that before the pandemic, there was a lot of work to be done. And while the pandemic may have set us back a little bit, we know that we're heading in the right direction, particularly with efforts like this that we're supporting today. So while there's more work to be done, we want you all to know that Prudential stands ready and willing to continue to support the city, and we're honored to do that. Thank you for having me here today.
Thanks, Daryl. We're always glad to have you with us as well, and really appreciate the support that you give us, but also that Prudential has provided to the city for many years. Next, I'd like to invite Bernal Hall, President and CEO of Invest Newark, to the podium. Bernal is laser focused on economic development initiatives that assist small businesses grow and thrive, implementing real estate development projects like 505 Clinton, where there'll be artist affordable housing, and a performance venue and cafe, and also advancing the redevelopment of our vacant and blighted properties through the land bank created by Mayor Baraka. Invest Newark is a critical and essential partner to our ability to implement this equitable economic recovery plan. And I know that over the next 2 years, our agencies will be working even closer to execute the mayor's vision for equitable economic recovery. So, Bernal, please come forward.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor, and thank you all for joining us today for this very important announcement. Today marks a signature moment in Newark's economic resurgence. As we all know, COVID-19 has had crippling effects on all of us, from lost jobs to lost wages to strained public and private resources. However, through this difficult time, we have been fortunate to have strong leadership. Mayor Baraka, City Council, Deputy Mayor Ladd, and the staff at the City of Newark and Invest Newark, among other partners, guided by principles of equitable economic growth, continue to organize a plethora of resources, including grants, business loans, procurement opportunities, technical assistance, healthcare provision, and moral support to Newark businesses and residents. As mentioned, this plan will double down on that commitment to Newark businesses and residents that have refused to give up in the face of adversity. Invest Newark stands ready to support this plan, first and foremost with excellent customer service, but also by ensuring that Newark businesses have access to capital and contracts, as well as remaining informed and empowered to do what they do best. As you may expect, we'll be launching an aggressive slate of business training opportunities, including bringing back our in-person certification and bonding events, increasing the number of contract opportunities on our procurement portal, and yes, inundating your email boxes with land bank sales opportunities, as we've done so in the past, until there's no blighted properties in our inventory. As always, we continue to welcome feedback from our business owners and residents, as we've found time and again that some of the most innovative ideas have come from grassroots engagements. And with that, I'd like to thank you all for your time and joining us today, and we look forward to working with you to move Newark forward together. Thank you.
Thanks, Bernal. I know we have much more to do, but it's been great during the last couple of years that we've been advancing the mayor's Newark Forward vision. Now let's hear from two business owners that are present today. We have Kier Oliphant, who is here with Clean Cuts, the business that we are standing in front of. And we also have Reynaldo Rodriguez, who is with Talk and Fix, located on Ferry Street. So I'd love to have both of them come up and share their story with all of you. We've been able to work with over 300 businesses that received the Small Business Grant Program under Mayor Baraka's leadership. We know there are more businesses that need assistance, and as we look to recovery, we will continue to find ways to help more businesses with the funds that the mayor's allotting to this new plan. So if I could have both Clean Cuts and Talk and Fix, would you please come?
Thank God and thank everybody here for coming to Clean Cuts. Clean Cuts we have been at the same location since 1997. And when the pandemic came, it just felt like it was over, just at a halt. But the city and my wonderful landlord and my beautiful staff of people who, all Newark residents that we employ, the patients, and the city, they was there every step of the way. Even things that we didn't get, they did assist us in trying to get the grants that wasn't available to us in the end, and sent emails, and like we closed March the 20th. I would say by March the 29th, I started getting emails, and we here to assist, we here financial people who just set us up to do things. Long live Newark. I'm a child of Newark. I was born in Newark. My mother was born in Newark. I'm going to stay here. And with the assistance of Newark and my beautiful Ronice Baraka, who, as busy as he is, If I really need him, I could get him personally. Because he a child of Newark. It means the world to me and hopefully the world of Newark, and I'm so thankful. Long live Clean Cuts, long live Newark.
So my name is Reynaldo Rodriguez. I'm the owner of Talk and Fix Wireless, located at 207 Ferry Street. So like a lot of small businesses, we struggled. We struggled to pay employees. We struggled to buy inventory. The pandemic took everyone by surprise. And unfortunately, there was nothing that we could do. At the time, we obviously we didn't know what to do, but thank God that we have great cities, great mayors that always find a way. So on behalf of my employees, my co-workers, and my business partners, we would like to thank the City of Newark for giving us a grant that was able to keep our employees, keep our lights, and keep our inventory flowing. Again, thank you, and we appreciate everything that you've done for all the small businesses out there that needed the grant, and we appreciate everything Baraka has done for me.
That's my cousin.
Close.
That's great. Well, now we'd like to invite former president's cousin up. No, sorry, it was all seriousness. I'd like to introduce our mayor, Mayor Raj Baraka, who's the 40th mayor of our great city. And I just want to say that throughout this pandemic, the mayor has led with strength. He has led with bold effort and action, and he has helped us be an even stronger city to help make us Newark strong. So thank you, Mayor.
So I want to thank the deputy mayor first, Allison Ladd, who's been doing a phenomenal job and trying to get some of these things accomplished that have been very difficult to do, very large, very cumbersome kind of projects. I mean, one, you're used to, your responsibility is to foster economic growth in the city. You obviously don't know what you have to do when a pandemic comes. You have to help, people pay rent, businesses recover. All of these things, it is very difficult. And I want to thank all the partners that are here as well that were mentioned earlier, all protocols being established, all of the folks that have been helping us make this happen, because we definitely have not done this alone. And this is us trying to announce what a economic recovery plan would look like over a 5-year period in the city of Newark. We know that it's not going to, we're not going to be finished in a couple of months, in a year or 2 years, that it's going to take a while for us to get on the footing that we need to be on. There are some silver linings in all of these things. I mean, development is still happening in the city. In fact, even more so than pre-pandemic. People are still interested in Newark. People are still trying to move to Newark. Development is still happening in this city. But it would be a mistake not to really analyze or understand how detrimental this pandemic has been to us. 16,000 residents lost their jobs in the city. The unemployment rate rose to about 19% in the city of Newark at its worst. We are down to about 10.7%, almost 11% now. Which is double digits, and we were in the single digits pre-pandemic. So we're still recovering slowly, but we're doing that. Job losses in the city have been concentrated basically in 4 kind of areas: hospitality, healthcare, social services, retail, and other services. Retail, like the retail we're in front of now, barbershops, beauty parlors, the retail that the young brother spoke about. All of the retail in the city, we've been focusing a lot around the country on restaurants and bars and businesses, and that's what folks have been talking about, because I think that's the thing like people like to talk about. It's the sexy thing. Everybody wants to talk about the nice restaurant, the nice bar, but really the mom and pop shops, the beauty parlors, the nail salons, all of the places that are in these communities that have 1, 2, maybe 3 employees. These are the folks that have been affected the worst by this, and we've been trying to get as much money and support to them as we possibly can. Federal support, state support, county support, whatever money that's been available. And then the money that we've had, we've been trying to offer that as well. These job losses have resulted in almost $100 million of lost consumer spending that would probably otherwise gone to Newark businesses. $100 million is a lot of money on top of the other leakage that the city already gets, people spending their money outside of the city of Newark. There's certain areas in the city where hundreds of millions of dollars, the Weequahic section, this area spends a lot of money annually outside of the city of Newark in other municipalities. Because of the lack of business and our need to develop more business in the city was already there. Now when the businesses that we do have to close and people lose their ability to pay because they lost their job, it makes it more difficult for our community to thrive. So, just to the meat of it, this year we raised a little over $8 million to begin this kind of investment in our communities right away, with ideas that came from the Newark Equitable Growth Commission, Newark Forward recommendations, Bloomberg Associates who've been helping us out, Newark Alliance folks, Invest Newark, and other national best practices that we've seen over the last 14 or 15 months that we've been involved in this. So what are we going to do? We're going to expand more emergency rental assistance to folks who can't pay their rent. We're going to try to invest and help people around their mortgage who are late on mortgage payments. We're going to create a 5-year affordable house. We have a 5-year affordable housing goal that we've created, and we can get into depth about that, to create more affordable housing, including a portal that exists where people can go to and look for the affordable housing that exists in the city now, so they're not calling around and calling the mayor's office and calling everybody saying, I need to have a place to go. There'll be a portal they can go to see the available affordable housing in the city and how to apply for it and how to get in it. We want to do that. We want to preserve the housing that exists and create opportunities for more. A couple of weeks ago, we announced a $20 million investment in folks who are willing to develop housing at 30% of the AMI. That's for families that make about $32,000, $34,000 a year. And so these are the things that we're trying to do. We're also going to develop more redevelopment neighborhoods, more designations, and we are creating a low-cost transportation pilot using dockless bikes and e-scooters that we've already begun in the downtown area. We want to expand that as well, called Newark Go. So those are just a few of the things that we want to do, but it's an entire package. The deputy mayor spoke about it. They'll have a Zoom. You could get more information about it, get into the weeds of it. But this is we believe that it's going to take all of us together to begin to invest in our community, to get it jump-started or restarted. In fact, to get it moving faster than it actually was prior to the pandemic. And that's really what the goal is, to make up for the year that we lost, to move faster, to go deeper, and do whatever it is necessary to get money in the pockets of our residents. And there's some things that we're not talking about, that I haven't talked about because it's not a part of this project, but there are things like guaranteed basic income, other kind of ideas that we are experimenting with in the city of Newark to make sure that we help our residents recover financially and our businesses recover financially from this terrible, terrible pandemic. I don't want to steal all of the thunder, but that is some of the basic things that we're going to do, and I'm just open up for Q&A for anybody who has any questions regarding some of the things that were said. Myself, Deputy Mayor, and anybody else up here can answer any of these questions.
Can you detail more how you raise the money, if there's a higher goal than what you have so far?
Sure.
And where this source of money is coming from, please?
Yep. Some of it, obviously, a large portion of it is coming from the ARP dollars, President Biden's ARP dollars, and the Congress, and half of the Congress at least, gave us the support to do the things that we want to do here in the city. And we have other entitlement dollars and other funding from the city that already exists. And as you heard, Prudential has been helpful, and other private sources have been helpful
with us as well. I did not mention the expansion of fiber and broadband. That's also a part of this as well.
Tom Weeman from Tap Into Newark. Mayor, what are some of the challenges that the city's facing right now that you believe you guys can tackle short term? And then what are some of the long-term challenges that you guys believe that you're going to have to work towards to tackle?
Well, I think all of these problems are going to have a long-term impact, but immediately we can help small businesses. Immediately we can help people pay rent. Immediately we could help people that are back on their mortgage. Immediately these are the things that we could do that'll have an immediate impact right now. The guaranteed income dollars that'll have immediate impact right now. Things like broadband and giving people access to our server in the city of Newark, expand the internet and then technology to families and students is a long-term goal, but I think is laudable and is necessary, and we see how serious it is based on all of the when schools were closed and the necessity for kids to be able to get online and the folks who had difficult time doing that. So that's a larger goal, and another larger goal is our housing plan, which is at the forefront of what we want to do. The Klein report came out. Our Newark Equitable Growth Commission pointed out to us that we needed about 6,000 additional units of affordable housing in the city of Newark. And to just be honest, my thinking about it in the beginning was, I always think about we need more housing in the South, we need more housing in the West, because that's where folks are. But they really pointed out that housing is missing in other parts of the city, affordable housing, to spread some of this stuff out, because we do not want to concentrate poverty in specific areas of the city. We want to be able to build affordable housing across the city, which makes sense to me, and it really opened my eyes in terms of how we need to direct housing development. So this 5-year plan is a result of the Klein report and our American recovery dollars, but also because of the Equitable Growth Commission telling us this is what we needed to do.
Mayor, one of the things you mentioned before, that part of this effort, and most probably of this effort, was to recover what was lost during the pandemic. Just to put it in perspective, can you tell us what was lost here during the pandemic?
Well, I tried to touch on it a little bit. Our unemployment rate rose to 19%. We lost upwards to about $100 million more in local spending here in these communities. The untold loss to businesses, as was pointed out here, you're talking about generations who may have lost their businesses, may have shut down, not provided services to communities if we did not step in and help them. And some of them are still lost. Even when we help them, we still lost. And the real problem is we can't help everybody because we don't have the resources to do so, but we can fill in the gaps where the state and the federal government has not reached. And that's what we're trying to do.
I have a two-part question.
As usual.
Yes. The first question is
we just took a bet about that over here, by the way.
No, I'm going to step away so I don't get the feedback. The first question is for you, Mayor. I just wanted to know, there's a provision in the inclusionary zoning ordinance that there's an affordable housing trust fund.
Yes.
And you were just talking about how affordable housing needs to be spread out throughout the entire city, like even, I'm assuming, like the downtown as well as, other wards. So is the city looking to maybe, like...
That's what the trust fund is for, to invest in low-income and affordable housing in areas where we need them. And even if the project does not have the development on site, it will have it in that area. And so the goal is to make sure that affordable housing goes into areas where it does not exist in abundance. Places like the South Ward and the West Ward have an abundance of affordable housing. Obviously, we need more quality affordable housing. So we've been concentrating on these wards a lot. But based on the Klein report, we have to build affordable housing in the east, in the north, parts of the central and the downtown area. We need affordable housing in those areas of the city.
But to be clear, the city isn't looking to amend that part of the ordinance about the Affordable Housing Trust Fund?
No, we're not. I know there's some talk about raising the amount of money that goes into the Affordable Housing Trust Fund.
Okay.
And we want to raise the amount so that developers can make a decision, not just based on their economic needs, but make a decision that is beneficial to the community.
Okay. And my second question is for Bernal Hall. I just want to know how the FAM fund is going. Like how much money is in it right now, and how many businesses or entrepreneurs have been helped so far.
Sure. Thank you for the question. We have been fortunate enough to receive a significant investment from Bank of America, and we are currently looking at the first 5 applications for the FAM fund. We'll come back out with a specific announcement once those loans have been closed. Thank you.
Good morning. This could be for Mr. Mayor or Mrs. Deputy Mayor. Do you guys have any idea of how many businesses here in Newark shut down permanently? And will they, if that number, based on that number, will they be eligible to take part in this program to make a comeback here in Newark?
Well, all businesses are eligible to take part in this program, obviously. We haven't, by the grace of God, heard of any businesses in our city that have closed down permanently because of the pandemic. By the grace of God, we have not heard that, and we pray that that does not happen,
So no businesses closed down in Newark at all?
As far as we know.
Okay.
Yep.
No more
permanently.
No more questions.
I mean, not because we closed them down, but permanently.
Crystal, I think that's
Yeah. One more question.
I got a question, man.
1 second from the news, the news people. Yeah.
Hi, Mayor. The first year of the plan, it's at $8.8 million in funding. So it's a 5-year plan. What about the rest of the years? Do you know what, the rest of the years what the funding will be?
Well, the idea of having this kind of plan is to be able to invest so the economy can begin to take care of itself once again. We want to jumpstart the economy. That's the idea of investing in it, so it begins to jumpstart and it begins to operate on its own like it normally does, right? And that's because of the pandemic, the economy slowed down, and in some places it stopped, which is why we need to boost it and support it, which is why there are stimulus checks that are being given to families that I think should continue in perpetuity forever. That's why unemployment has been extended. That's why we're giving money to businesses to jumpstart the economy, to get them back into doing regular business in this community, and use this as an opportunity as well to kind of tackle some of the inequity that has been existing in our country for decades, even centuries, at the same time, using some of these dollars to do that as well. And I think it's the opportune time to get that done, right? So